well. And I'm looking forward to a panel here. We have an international panel on stage. So from the founder from the European Center for Sustainability in the Media World, Birgit Heidsiek. Welcome on stage. Daniel Bezares, Director of Photography, co-founder X for Sweden and Guatemala. He'll be there. Welcome. And Lilis Soares, she's a director of photography from Brazil. Bem-vindo. And she has a film going on here and presented it here at the Berlinale, Best Mothers in the World. And this panel is hosted by nobody else than Jerry Awaz. He is the host for this panel. Welcome. Enjoy.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. All right.
Good morning.
I hope we're bringing enough heat to make people, it's kind of looking cold. Good morning, ladies. And good morning, Dania.
Good morning to you.
You're on like an 85, right? Cool. That's a DP there. Okay, good. Yes, so we will just kick on, right? Like the person introducing us said, I have a magazine here, and the green stuff. There's a whole lot of talk shop about making stuff green. We said it yesterday about the Afro Berlin. We want to move stuff from the talk shop to the workshop. Let stuff work, not just being said. So on that, I will start, they said ladies first. We're saying it in Africa that ladies first, after men. So I'm just joking with you, Daniel. So we start with Birgit. So you just introduce, how you're doing this, and then I'll go to Soares, to Daniel, and then we'll take it from there. So thank you.
Okay. Is it working? Yeah. Okay. So thank you for having me. My name is Birgit Heidsiek, and I'm the founder of the European Center for Sustainability in the Media World. And I founded it in 12 years ago. And the idea was really to bring ecological sustainability to the film industry. And when I started to do it, there was very little awareness. So people, when I had the first magazine out here, people were asking, film green? What do you mean by that? I mean, paint films green or whatever. So I always had to explain it. And But coming from my background was that, I grew up in a small city. Everything I did by bicycle, and I turned vegetarian when I was a teenager and so on. And but I always lived more or less a secret eco life. And then when I came to the film industry, it was all different. And then I thought, I should maybe try to bring these worlds together somehow, but I understood I have to do it in a different way. If you just have your self-made wooden wool clothes, then people would look like, she's a freak. So it had to be somehow glamorous. So I started to give it a different look. And but it really took some years until it took off, until 2019, when really, on one hand, Greta Thunberg and all the climate activists really became popular. So that really made a huge difference. And on the other way, when the European Union, the Film Commission really said, we are doing the Green Deal, then producers smelled money. And then I was just asked, can you help us? We want to do a self-declaration, the independent producers. I said, I'm happy to. And then I could not look so fast. Over a couple of weeks or months, everybody declared, I'm green. No, I invented, I did this. And then it was like the whole world is already green. I thought, this would be great if it would be true, but there's still a lot of work to do. But at least I think there's more awareness now, and we have even standards in Germany, and they can always become better and better. But at least there's an understanding that there's something wrong, that our planet has fever, and so we have to work on that.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it's evident outside. Nobody expected it to snow, right? But It's been happening for days. So you have a point and a case. So Lilis, just take us on this ride.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lilis Soares. I'm DP. I have a movie here in Berlinale, the best mother in the world. Thank you. So about the green, I think we had a lot of work to do because we don't have a balance between the productions around the world. I'm from Brazil. I'm working in Africa too, in Europe, and there is a big difference between these countries. So we need to talk more about the possibilities to have other alternatives to have good choices about the equipment, about the way we film, about our behavior on the set. It's a challenge because it's not something that in Brazil we don't think a lot about it every day on the real life. So and there is another thing about the productions. If we don't have the money, the enough money to make the movies, we need to talk about, okay, we don't have this money, but maybe we can find the good ways to create, to have alternatives, to have good productions and good histories, even if we know we have a lot of difficulties to shoot. So I think my movie here in Berlin talk about it, about a woman, a strong woman that works in a cooperative of garbage, and this is another way to talk about the subject. But we need to find a place to discuss, to have a good discussion with the production, with the DPs, with the directors, because we need to change. So that's it.
Thank you. So you're the woman, the myth. You're doing this now and you're calling for change. So I know there's always a fight between a director and a DP. And the D in DP is director, right? So it's like a fight between two directors,
yes.
Actually. She's moving it over to directors, so directors in the house. She's saying it's more about you too. Dania, just like they have done, just introduce your standpoint on this.
Yeah, sure. I am Daniel Bezares. I am from Guatemala, also based in Sweden. And I have a company in Denmark that is Danish-Swedish as well. And my take on green production is very important to make an impact. And how can we, get the whole green production also as well to move to a more sustainable way. And working here in Denmark and Sweden, we're trying to be like in the forefront of how can we bring the teams together, because what we can see is like it's not only one person, because it needs to be communicated from the top already from the political level. And then all the way down to the almost grassroots, if you want. But I think the discussion should start with maybe the producer, or how the investors maybe. How can we bring that down all the way down to the crew to also be aware of how do you conduct yourself on the set. How do you transport? There are so many hands-on practical solutions, right? So, but you need to start somewhere. And I think this is a great way to do it. To inspire and have a discussion. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dania. So, okay, we've gone round. I'm going to go back. So she handed it over to the directors. He's talking more about producers and executive producers being the investors. So this is kind of like everybody's moving the milestone to the guy that's responsible for the decisions as to how green we can go. But so I by experience, have produced and directed, and I know this is where the fight is. I stand corrected. You can correct me, professionals. And in most cases, when you put the agenda on the table about let's cut down on the amount of people, the amount of crew, and all of that, then the technical people, DPs, you're the first to call that out. So I cannot meet up this schedule if you cut down the hands that are going to move this for me in the lights and all of that, right? So if there's anything Daniel mentioned, I understand, we need to all come to the same goal. Because for the technical people, it's about the quality. You say, okay, if you don't give me this X amount of crew to move with this whole huge stuff, then I can't give you that quality in that time. You understand? So that is the biggest challenge. You know, for the producer, he says that I'm putting in this, I'm controlling this amount of budget. I need to prove it to upstairs that I've used this money like this. And you said, I should get this volume of stuff. Sometimes it's just for backup, so that if this light goes out, there's one on set to go. But we have succeeded in just putting what is before us. Let's attempt to say things in terms of like examples. I'll start with you on what you think can be cut down, like measurable, you know, in terms of production globally, yet still keeping the quality. I don't know if it's straight. Is it? Straight?
I think Daniel made a pretty good point because you really have to consider that the whole team has to work together and to be convinced by sustainability. And if you do it in a good way, that there's not a fight. And what comes first? So sustainability also means that everybody should really work together and not fight. But if you really want to do something with the green production, it's always planning, because if you're starting to shoot soon, then it's really too late. You have really to think about, I mean, it already starts in the script stage, so what kind of story you have, and where is it located, and the more location you have, and the more distant they are, the more you have of mobility and transportation, and so the bigger is your carbon footprint. So you really have to really start to plan and think very early how you can solve that. And the trouble is that the most barrier is often the financing, because producers have to go where the money is. And we have this problem in Germany. We have the so-called backpack producers. They have to travel with productions from north to south, from east to west, because they get a little bit of money here and here and here and here. And everybody has to spend the money there. We have this on the European level. We have this on the global level. And you have all these tax incentives, and people are traveling crazy all over the planet because they have to have their spend here and there and there. And this is so unsustainable, the system. So this is a big issue we are facing. And then, of course, we have to see where do we have the most carbon emissions, and this is clearly transportation and energy. And with the energy supply, of course, we want to have really good-looking images and whatever the DOP and what the gaffer really requires and needs. And then we also have to think, maybe we can work with natural light. Maybe we have very sensitive cameras. They don't need so much power supply, so that we don't use a generator. Maybe we can even work with reflectors, or maybe not. Maybe we have to get LEDs, but maybe it's even better to use all the old HMI lamps. Then we don't have at least the hardware obsolescence, because we have also to look into supply chain. And every item we use, it has resources, and it took energy to produce it. And now there is this hype, oh, we have to have all electric cars. But if you're going to Poland and you drive an electric car, it's powered there with 70% coal power in the energy mix of electricity. And I would not think that this is very sustainable or green. So it always also depends where are we shooting, what we are doing. So we really have to think first. That's the most important thing. And then how can we manage really to kick that off to get the financing to the best possibilities and options we have. And that's why the early planning is a lot of work. And if we don't do it, and if you have a green manager who's called in 2 weeks before starting, it's too late.
Oh, thank you very much. So this is measurable. I think that deserves a round of applause, right? I hear measurable solutions. So you would suggest that they be a green manager from day one of pre-production, so that the person's job is to tell us, okay, we can cut down on X transport, we can cut down on X lights, and all of that from the beginning, not bring in the person so late that they have to now fight every department in production that we want to cut down. So that's a very good take home for filmmakers in the house and executives to know that this will have to be incorporated as a, green film shooting should start from the very beginning, right? So over to you, Lilis. Measurable solutions that you think?
We need to discuss more, because in the reality, what we have every day, it's what we have in the rental houses, the equipments. We're not prepared to have a real change. So if we need to change, we need to have a pre-productions where we can talk with the productions, with the directions, and talk and find a way to have more responsibility during the shooting. If I don't have alternatives in the rent house with the equipment, if even with my low budget, I don't have options to have good choices, what I can do. So this is a decision with the productions, with the directions, and we need to change our behavior every day. So I don't think we are prepared to have a big change, but it's the beginning of this discussion. And when we talk about Latin America, Africa, do we have good equipments to keep a quality in low budget there, and to have this responsibility? Do we have there this? Because if I don't have an opportunity and an option, what I can do? So it's not about just the DPs, it's about the productions and the owner of rent houses, of the equipment. So it's a collective work. It's not just about us.
Okay, fine. Yeah, but if I heard something there, you now mentioned Latin and Africa. This is Afro Berlin after all. Yeah, but I know you're an award winner with an African film. You won FESPACO, the Golden Horse. You went to Sundance. Your film did well at Sundance.
Yeah, I am Sundance winner.
Yeah, you see? So you did the magic, even with the kind of equipment you were dealt with in Africa, and yet you won all of these awards.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's possible. You're just a living proof that it is possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible, but
if they are ready for the big change.
Yeah, for sure, it's possible. But we talk about human beings.
Yeah.
It's possible, but we need a structure to have healthy.
Like accountability. That's what I'm going to transfer to Daniel. So you just raised something. We're trying to see if we could give time. I always like my panel to have time for people to engage. So Daniel will take it home. They've both just said something, measurable solutions. Measurable solution being accountability, Daniel. Yesterday, before the panel, we were talking about something on how to measure, all of those things. So please, just on that, measurable solution and
Yeah, sure. Here, I just read about the initiative from Italy that you can start actually to collect some points in able to be green. Your production can be green certified, and I think it's like a tool, like a manual that you get. Here in the Danish film industry, it's like a collective manual. Actually, like how to a lot of tools to get that certified, and I think you can actually have the green management documents, like how many points have you reached, have you recycled, have you thought about the location. And if you get a certain amount of points, you can actually get green certified, and you can communicate that. And I think the goal is to communicate that, okay, we are certified, and I think that can inspire other productions. And I think that maybe that's the goal, to get it out there, to communicate, okay, someone is taking steps forward and actually investing, because, I mean, it costs to be green. I mean, even in private society, to be organic food is super expensive. So not everyone can afford to be green. Yeah. You know, so it must be from the top. It must be incentive as well to be able to do that. Okay. But I think in terms of just to bring it home, it's like to inspire and communicate it out. So we, I mean, at least certain productions can be important.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So two things I heard there. You're still moving it up to the top. It's a communication thing. But the first question I wanted to ask you, you said there's a tool. Can you mention the name, spell it out so that other people, a tool for measuring? Yeah.
It's called green film.
Green film.
Green film.
It's like
green.film. It's a website.
.film. Yeah, it's a website that is providing an accountability system for you to be able to measure how green and all of that. So transferring that, this is a thing you could use to help accountability up top. I know you have a comment about it. I want to wrap it. And then we have... Oh, good. So I always do a job of pushing us. 10 minutes, good, thank you. Okay, we have time. Trust me, we'll have time. So good. So green.film, and it could be used to measure this. So because she raised the point, it went across their accountability system. You see, the tax guys, they are no joke. So whatever anybody is doing, you know, your taxes have a problem, you have a major problem, right? So if maybe the green guys could make sure the accountability is that demanding like the tax, then maybe everybody understands that it has to be done. It's not even a choice. So you will do that comment, then is open for questions from the audience, else we take it home. So
yeah, I would like to add, there are so many tools, and we have been discussing this on a European level, also with some people in the audience, for really more than a decade. And there are also European calculators. Now in Germany, our standards are really an obligation. Otherwise, you don't get any official funding support anymore. And this system is also adapted in other countries. It's already in France the case, and now in Denmark. And the Swedish people, they are also considering to adapting it. And green film was a system from Italy, but so in Denmark it was introduced, but now they want to adapt the German standards. And but
what's the German tool? You care to mention?
The standard is that there are 39 requirements, and 20 of them you have to be fulfilled, and you have to fulfill at least 17, so you have 5 jokers, and they are spread in all departments. But it's an obligation that you do a carbon calculation. But the problem is now there's so much focus on measuring and carbon calculating, and so in the beginning this is a very good point for an awareness that you understand, okay, taking the train is better than taking a plane and so on. So really it's like prep school, that you get really the first knowledge, but then basically you get the idea. And of course you can calculate after 10 films again, but you can already guess what is better and what you shouldn't do at all. But the thing is that in terms of awareness, it's like that people think, okay, I've done the calculation, now I'm green. And this is only the beginning. They have calculated what they can do, what they should do, and what they shouldn't do. But they have not done anything green yet, because they have to take action. And the planet doesn't care what I calculate. Nobody, I mean, it doesn't make any difference. But people think if they calculate, they have already done the job or half of the job. And this is not true. And we also have to understand, obviously, that this calculation has a long tradition, which had been a business model with carbon offset. And people say, oh, you can offset your flight and then it's fine. No, it's not fine. And you cannot make it even. You have really hurt the planet with your emissions. And therefore, I think carbon calculation is one tool. Yes, you can use it, but it's not so. It's very much overrated. Yeah. We should focus on really take actions.
Actions, yeah. Thank you very much. I like the passion. I like the passion there. So, if I were to summarize what you're saying, we owe a debt, right? You're not a debtor, and you're saying you need to go start settling the debt. We have already had the planet, years and years of production without calculating. So calculation is just one of the tools. If I hear Lilis correctly, you're talking that this is more about behavioral. In fact, film itself is in the cultural realm, right? We have the political, the economic, and environmental. Then there's cultural. We established that yesterday here on some panels, that if you move things from political to environmental and economic, being incentives and all, if you take it down cultural level, then it becomes permanent. So people behave in a certain way. That is what you're reinforcing, that people need to start with the very thought. It needs to become a culture that before you go on set, what do I do to make this home? So guys, we have 5 minutes for y'all. Sorry, but I think that's a lot of time. Questions now to these professionals here. The mic is up. Anybody that has a question for okay. Thank you.
Hi, I really appreciate the passion and your attempt also to find a logic in this jungle that is going on for decades. I have a question for you as DOP. It's your presence here, as I said, is a statement of the change that is happening. Because let's remember that when we talk about sustainability, we're not just talking about green solutions, but we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about representation, and therefore, and of course, the economic sustainability. And I think you nailed a great point. Availability of, of course, materials, technology, and so on. Birgit mentioned before the life cycle of this technology. We are so obsessed with the new game, with the new toy, but we mislocate and we misplace what is there. And there is this bad tradition of just dumping the old stuff as low as we can go. Though there is a lot of possibility, because when you have little, you learn really to be extremely creative. And as you know, I think about the US mostly, there is this, let's try the new game, but we are losing the reason why we make films. That is not just about testing technology and play with it, but it's the core of storytelling. And thinking about your cinema, it's very true that we have to go back to not only what stories we're telling and how we're telling them, but why. So I want you to a little bit help us understanding how, for instance, in your creative process, you involve your team. Because that's, I think, a big difference. And I think we have to go back and talk about it, because one part of the world is too distracted to play, technology as video games. And we're losing the reason why we're doing it. And that is also why film has still a social role to play. That is not just about telling anything, but it's the way we put the brains at work. And just an information for everybody, there is a very big work internationally. The UN has created a group that works on, sharing the standards, as you were suggesting. Good. It's called ECCA, ECCA.org. And in the and in the UN website, it's easy to find. It's a charter for, sharing all the information. And the idea is to create not just one tool, but to share all the tools and make the discussion global.
Thank you very much. That's a good tool. Okay, somebody will have to help with the mic. Sorry, but it's okay. Yeah, thank you. So Soares, please, we have like 2 minutes, so just the fastest you can.
Thanks so much for your question. This is about my life, my passion, my mission. I think I am a Senes winner. I have a movie here. I'm an Afro-Brazilian woman, queer. So it's not just about to be in this position, it's what I can do with. So I study narratives, cinema in the depth. I like to think about language, what I can do, what I can create with this possibility. I'm not anymore an spectator, like Bewook said. I'm the creator. So what I can do with this possibility, this is a power that I'm pioneer in my country, in Latin America. I create with CJ, the director, Mamiwata. It's a black and white movie. Yeah. And we went to Sundance and we win an award of cinematography there and FESPACO. So I think there is a place to think more about new possibilities of world. Because we are in a transition time, we need to think about alternatives, about our behavior, about these bodies that we have in front of the camera and behind of the camera too. Because we need to change. We need to discuss between us, not just in a bubble. Yeah. It's the time to discuss the new, real possibilities, and us to be a body and just to do a reproduction of the technology, of the games, of aesthetics. We need to think about this diversity of the worlds that we have. We don't have just one world. We have a lot of worlds together.
Thank you. That guy is a police guy. If he starts coming...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I see him coming. Sorry. Thank you so much. This conversation can be done even after the panel, right? Daniel? Just let us know in like 30 seconds what is possible. So
everything is possible. Everything is possible. I mean, you guys have said it all. I mean, we need to come together. We need to really work together as not only a film production team, but actually the whole world needs to come together. But it's about talking, communicating, and changing behavior. That's the basic. It can't be enough stress. You need to, take out the trash. That is just simple task.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Daniel said, take out the trash. It is possible. I have in my hand here a magazine. You have some copies back there, so the conversation can go. I can see some awards here at the back of this stuff. So it's there. You can continue all of the questions. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have warmed it up a bit. Thank you, guys. You're the best. You're awesome people. Thank you.